Welcome to Lexington Public Library's Tales from the Kentucky Room podcast, where we explore Lexington's history and people. I'm your host, David Bryant, and in each episode, we will feature a guest who will share a piece of local history. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to the Tales from the Kentucky Room podcast. I'm your host, David Bryant, and today I'm really excited to be speaking with Adam Lewis. This is an interview I've been looking forward to. Adam is an architecture photographer and archivist. I became familiar with Adam through his Instagram account known as the Southern Country Goodfellow. So welcome to the podcast, Adam.
Thank you. I've been very excited to do this.
Yeah. So I thought it'd be fun to start. Just tell us a little bit about your background, maybe where you're from, how you got interested in historic homes and properties.
I was born and raised in Bell County, Kentucky, so I am a Kentuckian through and through. I was raised by a coal miner and a stay-at-home mom, and just kind of been always that kid that always wanted the old things. They didn't want the new things. And when I moved to Lexington, it kind of just opened up a gateway. Just started photographing houses and really started to see people actually enjoyed it, and people from outside of Lexington or people outside of the state was just kind of surprised.
Yeah. So in Bell County, there wasn't a lot of historic properties, or
Not still standing.
Okay.
We have one early 19th century building that still stands, and with all of the renovations, it doesn't look that way anymore.
Okay.
But it's the Reverend Colson House, and it was built in 1800 when Bell County was still part of Harlan County.
Okay, so that's the kind of stuff I'm going to ask you more about later with how you do the research on the properties, but we'll come back to that. Can you talk a little bit about the name Southern Country Goodfellow? I'm sure people ask you about that a lot, but how did you...
I would love to say there was some just amazing thought behind it, but honestly, I'm a country boy.
Okay.
I feel like I have a Southern heart, and Goodfellow honestly just sounded really cool, and I liked it, and it just all came together, and now that's what people call me. They don't even call me by my real name.
Oh, really?
So it's really fun. So Goodfellow, I looked it up before I got here, and it just means someone that is very amicable, someone that is very nice. So I think it kind of fits.
Well, that's a good thing to aspire to. So on the main page of your Instagram account, the account is Southern Country Goodfellow, Southern_country_Goodfellow. You say documenting beautiful architecture around the bluegrass. How would you kind of describe your Instagram account?
House obsessed.
House obsessed. Okay.
I love historic architecture. I don't know. I also love my state. So being a Kentuckian and really being able to show people that do love architecture and people that aren't from this state, I made it kind of my goal to show people like, hey, Kentucky actually has a very rich history. We're not just, football and bourbon and horses. We're also have some of the greatest, politicians. We have some of the greatest architecture and architects, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think we're lucky a lot of, especially in the bluegrass, a lot of the historic homes are still standing.
Yes.
Even though they may have changed a little bit over time, but there's endless examples of...
Yeah, I always get really surprised when I run into like the late 18th century homes here that are still standing that were part of Virginia before we became a state. So it's always really fun to see those and, just the stories they have to tell us. And so do you focus on a certain time period or? Mostly 18th and 19th century. I will do early 20th century, but my real passion is 18th, 19th century Kentucky.
So you also say, have a historic house, DM me.
Oh, yeah.
So do you get a lot of people contacting you? How do you find the homes that you photograph? I wish I had people contacting me every day. Okay. That would be amazing. It would make my life easier, but that doesn't happen a lot. I've had a few, not a ton of people. I spend a lot of time just researching the National Registry, of course, the books that we have. So
Clay Lancaster and other people like that. And also, I really love to drive during the fall,
Mhm.
and I can see where these houses are, and I can kind of Google map them and see who lives there, and hopefully they will take my phone call.
And for people who may not know, can you briefly say who Clay Lancaster was?
Yeah, he was an architect that had moved away. Believe it was to New York.
Mhm.
And then the Moses Jones house in Mercer County came up for sale. So he moved back
Okay.
and renovated it and put in a few things, had started building an octagonal style home,
Mhm.
and unfortunately did not get to live in it before he passed away.
Okay.
He, I mean, his books are kind of my Bible.
Yeah.
I take to those a lot to figure out homes, and then that leads down the rabbit hole.
Okay, well, that's a good segue because I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how you do the research for the homes. One thing I've noticed, you'll say the John Smith house. Like, how is a house named?
I don't know the full history behind that, but for me, from what I've seen and what I've heard, if it's called Cedar Grove, it
Mhm.
probably was in surrounded, or there was a lot of cedars in that
Mhm.
area. And then there's other ones I'm like, where did you get that name
Uh-huh.
from? But I love finding out if
Uh-huh.
they have a name or not. I do get a little disappointed when they don't, because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I want a cool name for this house to post, but
Uh-huh.
not always.
And so you mentioned some of the books by Clay Lancaster. What are some of the other sources that you look at to research the
The
properties?
National Registry is a huge one for me. Also,
And the National
people
Registry
of
is
historic places.
okay.
I do that one. I will go county by county,
Okay.
and I will go down the list, and then I will research on who lives there, and then I'll give them a phone call, or I'll send them a letter, trying to get permission
Uh-huh.
to photograph. I also like to, I have a lot of friends that love architecture, so they're
Mhm.
always like, "Have you heard of this house?" And I'm like, "No, where is it?"
Okay.
So they are very helpful as well.
So you have thousands of followers. Like
Mhm.
you've posted probably thousands of times as well.
Probably,
Yeah, I
yes.
mean, it's many, many houses that you have photographed. Can you kind of walk us through your process a little bit? You find this house that you wanna you look at, you get the permission, then you take picture can you
Mhm.
kind of walk us through how you do that?
It all depends, honestly. Finding the house, finding who owns it, calling, sending a letter. It may be that I have to use one of my friends that knows that owner, and then,
Mhm.
talk to them, get permission. Yes, no. A lot of people are hesitant. I will
Okay,
say that. I
okay.
mean, I've met a lot of people that are very happy to do it. And then there are people that are very hesitant.
Mhm,
But usually when I get there, they're always like, "Oh, you actually do like
mhm,
architecture," or, "We didn't know what to expect." And then I get
mhm,
there, and it's such a wonderful experience because I get there, and then they really do dive into the history and, what they've done to the house, and just it's such an amazing process, and it's really amazing to see people very happy about their home.
mhm.
That always makes me really, really happy.
Yeah, and I imagine you get more, the colorful stories when you actually
Yes.
get in there and talk to
Mhm.
people.
Yes.
Does anything come to mind, surprising things you've learned once you
Yes, I was at one in Mason County. It is called Glen Alice.
Okay.
It's an octagonal home. The man that owned it, it's a really sad story, but he, of course, was a slave owner,
Okay.
and he had emancipated one of his people, and the son was still enslaved at the home.
Mhm.
And the father tried to buy him from the owner, and that man would not. And
Wow.
he one day saw his son chained to a horse and buggy, and he was being sold south to Louisiana. And the owner told me that while I was at the house, and, it's just very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's stories like that that really they stick with me,
Mhm.
you know, because those homes, yes, they're beautiful, but, I
Mhm.
mean, we
Yeah.
still have to remember
The history.
the people that built these homes, you
Right.
know? So, yeah, I get really good stories sometimes, and then there's really sad stories, so but that's one that's just really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
So it sticks with me all the time.
I imagine so. So, how often do you find families that are still like descendants of the ancestors who built the
Yeah,
house?
I have encountered that a couple times, and it's kind of incredible.
Yeah.
There was one house in, Bourbon County, uh, still in the original family, had not been sold out of the family, and they had had it since the 1780s.
Wow.
But it was being sold at the time, but that was the first time since the 1780s.
Hmm.
So it's kind of mind-boggling to
Yeah.
think like, "Oh, this is still a family home."
It's
And
incredible.
yeah,
Hmm.
and Mount Lebanon in Paris is also kinda like that. It was sold out of the family, but it is now back in the family.
Hmm.
So it's really, really cool.
So, are sometimes people resistant to having their house? I mean, you've
Oh, yeah.
mentioned that a little bit,
Mhm.
but it sounds like you do a lot of planning to get permission from people. When you initially approach people, what kind of reactions do you get?
I used to send out a lot of letters to
Okay.
people, and people always thought they were scams,
Right.
and that's understandable. I would probably as well. So that's why I like to talk to people on the phone. If
Hmm.
I can get a phone number, I try to always talk to them because it's a little different when you're talking to somebody over the phone
Right.
instead of a cold letter. No, I've had my fair share of absolute no's, and it does hurt me a little bit because 'cause I'm a little house obsessed.
Uh-huh.
'Cause, it's like it's usually one that I've been trying for years to photograph,
Mhm.
and then it's a big no.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it hurts sometimes, but, I mean, I also understand. I always try to respect people's privacy. That's why I don't post addresses or people that own it,
Mhm.
and usually I won't even if somebody messages me, I won't tell them, like,
Mm.
addresses 'cause that's 'cause I
Right.
focus a lot on private homes,
Yeah.
and I want the people that allow me to see those places, I also want them to feel respected for their privacy
Mhm.
'cause,
Mhm.
you know, it,
Yeah, that's a dimension I hadn't really thought about
Mhm,
yet till you just
yes.
brought that up.
Yep.
So, okay, so to bring it back to your process a little bit, you secure permission,
Mhm.
and then do you do a little bit of research about the property to
I do.
prepare or
I do. I if you've noticed, I don't really post a lot of detail on the house.
Mhm.
It's usually just the name of the house when it was built. Most of that is because I hate to write.
Okay.
I write like I talk,
Mhm.
so and it's never cute. Um, but I would like to get better. I would like to get more in depth with the history of the house.
Mhm.
I just right now you know,
Yeah,
I need to do a lot of pre-writing, I guess,
right.
before and then have other people read it and be like,
Uh-huh.
"Nah, that's a no."
Okay, and then you go and take your
Mhm.
photographs, and I feel like one time I contacted you over a DM, and I asked you, "Hey, what kind of equipment do you use?" And like, you do all these photographs with your phone,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
I mean, that's
I
impressive. Some of it's,
Thanks.
yeah.
I know. I get a lot of looks when they're like, "Okay, so go get your equipment." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"I don't have any. I
Uh-huh.
have my phone." I even got told once that I didn't look like a photographer. I'm like, "Well, I don't really know how you would describe a photographer." I don't consider myself a professional at all. I love doing it.
Mhm.
It's what drives me. I really do love showing it
Okay.
for people.
And then when you boil them down to a collection of 5, 10 pictures or something,
Mhm.
would you have taken many more photographs or do
Yes and
typically
no. When I'm inside of a house, I try to be respectful to the
Mhm,
people's interiors. If it's a place full of antiques, I
mhm,
try to stay away from getting too many photographs
mm,
because usually they don't want
right.
their home that
Mhm.
open to people. So that's why I focus mainly on staircases, fireplaces, or mantles, and woodwork moldings,
Like architectural
medallion. Yes.
features,
Yeah.
yes.
So if they're okay with me photographing the whole room, yes, I will.
Okay.
But I try to be as respectful as possible to
Uh-huh.
their belongings.
Then you select the pictures that you want to use
Mhm.
and write a brief
Mhm.
description sometimes. You also have a lot of interesting hashtags in your
Yeah,
posts, which I imagine is pretty time consuming.
it is. I got to where I would screenshot it and then I would,
Okay.
copy and paste, but then I started getting no Instagram does its weird things,
Mhm.
and all of my engagement
Mhm.
kinda fell,
Okay.
so I had to go online and start typing, like, "What are the most famous hashtags?" So now it's, like, random hashtags.
Oh.
I used to do it just for, like, Kentucky and hold houses, and that just wasn't bringing the engagement, so I had to go
Mhm.
research that. It's a whole ordeal, and,
That's
so
uh-huh.
not as many hashtags. I had at one point, like, 30 hashtags.
Mhm.
I have, like, 15 now, so
Yeah.
keep it a little it's a little more simpler and easier, but
Mhm. Okay. I'm curious, what for you, what really makes a house historic? As opposed to being just old? I mean, or is it kind of the same thing to you?
yes.
Okay.
To me, all houses are historic.
Okay.
I definitely think there would be people that would disagree with me. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people probably in the preservation world
Mm.
sphere would say it has to be something that was historically like something that kind of put that house on the map would
Mhm.
be considered very historic, like a Mount Vernon or,
Mhm.
Monticello.
Mhm.
I consider them all historic. I
Okay.
mean, people have lived in these homes for 200 years,
Yeah.
250 years. That's pretty historic to
Uh-huh.
me, I think.
Mhm.
And all of the work that people put in it and all the renovations, I mean, to me that's historic.
Mhm.
It doesn't I mean, Abraham Lincoln didn't have to stay there for it to
Right.
be historic for me.
Yeah, definitely. What properties stand out to you? I mean, you've photographed so many, but are there a few that really stand out to
Yeah,
you?
I mean, that's always a hard question
Yeah.
because I love it's so funny. I did have a comment the other day. I posted one and somebody commented, and I was like, "Yeah, I just absolutely love this house." And they're like, "You love every house." I'm like, "I kind of do. I do." But no, a few that are really fond to me and really close to my heart would be Liberty Hall in Frankfurt,
Okay.
the home of John
Yes.
Brown. It's just I don't know, you look at it and it just feels so stately.
Mhm.
And not to go into that, but John Brown, he gets not a lot of credit for what he did for Kentucky, and he was kind of an incredible man.
Mhm.
And so, what's an incredible man without an incredible house?
Uh-huh.
So, Liberty Hall, I'm always obsessed with governors' homes.
Uh-huh.
So another house would be Mount Lebanon in Paris. It was the second home of Governor James Garrett.
Okay.
It was built about 1785. Yeah, every chance I can go out there, I do. It's
Mhm.
so peaceful and it overlooks where his original house was. So during the fall, you can kind of see down the valley where he had his original home, which does not stand, by the way. It burnt down.
Okay.
Another one, you know, I do love Farmington in Louisville. The Speed Home, it is
Mhm.
beautiful. It's very Jeffersonian. It's just very I love homes that are really unique, that have really odd features, and Farmington just is it's one of those houses that's just it's beautiful in such an odd way.
And how is it odd?
When you walk in, the way it's built, it's very unconventional, to me. I would never put 2 bedrooms in the front of the house myself. Farmington is the home of the Speeds. Abraham Lincoln stayed there for about I think it was 3 weeks.
Yes. Okay.
Then again, like I said, that's not because of him staying there, I still just love the
Mhm.
house. It's an incredible house.
O
I could list
Yeah.
all of them.
Right. Yeah.
They all
Um,
have their uniqueness and their quirkiness.
your passion for it really comes through. What have you learned through this project? It's been going on 8 years, 7.
Yeah, 2017 is when I really started
Mhm.
noticing, like, "Oh, people like this."
Uh-huh.
Things I've learned is just how amazing the builders were.
Uh-huh.
These were not just I mean, they didn't have the materials we have today. So everything was done by hand. All the bricks were fired on the property, or, as there's a house called the Grimes house, all the stone was quarried right there at the house.
Mhm.
So, it's they didn't put up a house like they do now. It doesn't take 2 weeks to do it. It took years.
Yeah.
Liberty Hall took 1796 to like 1803.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it wasn't just something that they could just,
Yeah.
throw up, because these homes were meant to last.
Mhm.
And I think that's another thing I've learned and that I fell in love with is they're there to last.
Mhm.
The materials they use and, how they heated these homes. I mean,
Mhm.
these walls are like 3 feet thick. So
Mhm. Yeah.
just the way they ventilated their homes, I mean,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
could
when
learn.
you research these things, it's all the other things you learn
Yes.
that really have an impact sometimes
Yes.
that you didn't think
Yeah.
about to begin with. Oh,
I
that's
mean, even out to the outhouses,
uh-huh.
or the outbuildings, I shouldn't
Mhm.
say outhouses, but even their structures,
Mhm.
having yeah, we really do take those things for granted.
Yeah. So, do you have any plans for the future? Any future projects? Things that you're going to expand upon? I'm sure you'll keep your Instagram going. I'm sure you have plans for that.
Yeah, hopefully I don't ever run out of homes. I do get asked that a lot, like, "What are you gonna do when you run out of homes?" I'm
Uh,
like, "Well, there are still a lot of homes out there."
uh-huh.
I have a project in the works. I've been working on it for 5 years,
Okay.
almost 6 years. Oh my god. I'm working on a book.
Oh, awesome.
It will be a coffee table book. It will be featuring private homes only.
Okay.
So anything that people, you can't just drive up to
Mm-hmm.
will be featured in the
Mm-hmm.
book. I gave myself 5 years and then I would do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's not happened
Uh-huh.
because I work full time. So, it's a little
Yeah.
harder to
Mm-hmm.
wintertime also makes it really hard
Yeah.
because it gets dark at 4 o'clock. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the great things is that you mentioned, wintertime and private homes. And, people see a lot of things that you can't just drive up to. You
Mhm.
can't just drive
Yeah.
by. And so you're able to take pictures and share them, and people see things they never would have had a chance to see.
That's kinda how I wanted the future of
Hmm.
my Instagram to go
Hmm.
is, that's why I started focusing on private homes,
Uh-huh.
and that has also gained a lot of people's attention.
Hmm.
They're like, "Oh, I didn't realize Kentucky had that."
Hmm.
Like, how does Kentucky have so much of this architecture? And, you know, I think Kentucky gets a bad rep, on its rich history.
Hmm.
A lot of people think of the not so beautiful spots of Kentucky. And that is why I take pride in showing these places, is to show how beautiful Kentucky really is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful state, and we're so rich in architecture and so rich in history and so many, other things.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely. Well, Adam, it's been a pleasure speaking with
yes.
you today. I've learned a lot. I encourage everyone to follow your account, Southern Country Goodfellow. So thanks for being here.
Thank you all for having me, and I look forward to hearing the podcast. I normally don't like to hear myself talk, so this will be interesting.
Okay.
And if you have an old house, please
Yes.
DM me on Instagram.
Yes.
Please. I need more homes. And thank you all.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for listening to Tales from the Kentucky Room, a podcast brought to you by the Central Library's Kentucky Room staff at the Lexington Public Library. If you enjoyed listening, please take a minute to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcast. And please remember to recommend the podcast to friends. If you have any questions about local history or genealogy research, you can visit us in the Kentucky Room to use our collection and newspaper microfilm. Or you can email us at elibrarian@lexpublib.org. That's elibrarian@lexpublib.org. I'm David Bryant, and we'll be back with another episode next month.